This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job.
I'm not sure if you can beat that section.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because nothing seemed to be doing anything. We got an incorrect code the first time we pushed a colored button, followed by a number.
It did go from
All
3
of
to
his
2.
coworkers were gone.
Yeah, but it's before doing that, it said incorrect
Stanley
code.
decided to
True.
go to the meeting room.
Which
Perhaps
would
he had
imply that
something
the
else
first
in
thing we
mind.
did was wrong.
Hmm.
And then when we did it again, it
Yeah, it
also
didn't work.
nothing happened.
When Stanley
So,
came
what do you
to
do?
a set of 2 open
Downstairs.
doors, he entered
All
the
right.
door on his left.
You entered the door on your left, like a good boy.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, I didn't. What's this?
It's a red light.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing
Why
his
is there a
boss,
car in here?
admitting he had
Well,
left
it's
his
clearly a
post
parking
during work
space.
hours. He might be
Yeah, but
fired.
what?
And in such a competitive economy, why
What
would
good
he
would their
take
parking
the
space
risk?
be if it didn't
All
have a
of us
car in it?
believed everyone
I
had
mean,
managed. His
your
boss would
logic
think he was
is
crazy.
correct,
And then
but
One,
something
two,
occurred to Stanley.
B4.
Maybe, he thought to
Someone
himself,
drew a line on
maybe
that 3.
I am crazy. All of my
Or they put an
coworkers
E
blinking
there.
mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
1, 2,
And for that
B4.
matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last,
good.
he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh my.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and
I
Stanley
can show
marveled
you the
that he had still not
world.
woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself
Where's the
sooner.
murderer?
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And when
Don't
he thought
divide
about
by
it
0.
aloud and wondered if this
Yes.
voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
You
Now,
can't
why did
bait the
voice
door.
speak these words?
I'm
It was
trying.
Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket
Won't let me
on his
walk
stomach,
forward even though
the
I'm
press
closing
of
my
the
eyes.
mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
Yeah, everyone knows you
I'm
just
through
gotta
with
go
this
to
dream.
sleep in a dream to
I
wake
wish
up.
it to be over.
Or die.
Let me go back to my job.
It's always one of
Let
the
me
two.
continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want.
I just want to
I
push
want
the
my
buttons.
apartment and my wife and my
He's got a
job
wife.
Wow.
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Still here.
Still in the loop.
Stanley began screaming. Someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just
I have a
someone
boss,
tell
I
me
have
I'm real.
an
I
office,
must be
I am
real.
real.
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh, this is great.
This is
This
the
is the
story of
best.
a woman named Mariella.
What?
Yeah.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
What?
She would soon turn to
You
go
weren't in
call
an
for
infinite
ambulance,
loop. You were
but
outside in the
Hallucinating.
real world,
She
she considered
screaming.
the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
Oh
She
my
had no
god.
time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Ran from a dead body.
Well, she ran to get to her office.
Yeah. But that still doesn't look good. Oh my god. There's so many endings.
Yeah, the end is never the end.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could
So
it
I
mean?
think I've gotten all
Stanley
the
decided to go to
left
the meeting
door
room.
choices.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You might have.
Well, all the left door choices.
I literally have no idea. Unless you can
Stanley
beat
came
that
to a
room.
set of two open
Yeah,
doors.
unless I can
He
unless I
entered
can
the
beat
door
that
on his
room,
left.
or go through the confusion ending again and go through different options. So I'm gonna try the right door.
This was
Yes.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I wonder what happens if you do the
lounge
same
was
ending twice.
sublime, a work of art.
Ah.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay. Last time I went straight. Did I go left yet?
Yeah, and then you took a basement elevator down and started the confusion ending.
Right. Let's go straight.
Yeah,
No.
this is where you jumped off the
Stanley
lift.
was so bad at following
Right.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
And jumping off here will kill me, even though it's from this height. So I gotta jump on here.
Look, Stanley, I think
Go
perhaps we've
there.
gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm
You
not
could
your
do that.
enemy, really, I'm not.
Or wait it
I
out.
realize
Maybe
that
I'll go over
investing
there.
your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
The narrator.
Someone you've forgotten about.
Alright, I'm gonna go this way.
Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Ooh. Mariel.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance
Mariella.
to redeem
Mariella is just a woman
to
that was
put
walking
your
down the
work
street,
aside,
but sure.
to
She
let
might be
her
important, you
back
don't know.
into your life. She's been waiting.
We've already acknowledged that Stanley has a wife.
That's her,
The
Stanley.
fuck?
You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly
do you
place your
answer the
faith in
phone?
another, then pick up the phone.
No. Let me out. I can unplug it from the wall.
As Stanley picked up the phone,
I did!
a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to
Yes!
be the case. You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible.
So
Let me
this
double
was
check.
the first ending that I got.
Really?
It's called the disobedience
Definitely clear
ending,
as day.
and you get it for
Stanley
doing
picks
the
up
exact
phone.
opposite
He's
of
taken to his
everything he
apartment
tells
where
you
he finds
to
his
do.
wife,
Oh.
and two
You went through the
persons
right
next to
door,
one another.
you didn't
Music
turn around when
comes
he
in,
told you
fade
to, he
white,
told you to
roll
answer the phone, you
credits.
unplugged it.
Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible?
So this was the first
Decisions were
thing I
supposed to
got.
mean anything.
How is it
I don't
possible?
understand.
You've broken the game.
You know what? It probably says a lot about us that your first experience with this game was doing everything the narrator said not to do, and my first experience was doing everything the narrator said to do, just
Go
to
through
see
the
what the
door on the
first
left,
ending
and I was
was.
like, I need to see what he will say when I go through the door on the right. And then I need to continue
This is
that.
why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices, and to think I've been letting you run around.
Oh, and
in this
his
game for
conclusion
so
is
long.
that
If
you're
you'd
not
made any
Stanley.
wrong choices,
Oh.
you might have
And
been
that's
dated
why you're
entirely.
making all the
It's
wrong
as though
choices.
You completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well,
pick
I
it up
won't
now.
have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Okay.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person, but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house.
What are you,
Which
Richard
choice
the
would you
Warlock?
make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does
Fish.
not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person
What?
to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack."
What? Hey, Nick. Oh my goodness, it's 4:30. I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack.
Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process.
This is
Most
a choice
medical
that you could
professionals
make in
recommend
the real
making
world.
At least 8 choices
Yeah, I
per
guess
day.
that's true.
Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
All right.
Welcome back.
That was
You may have
magnificent.
noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that
Danger,
you're properly
danger
informed on
everywhere.
good
Stop, stop,
decision-making,
stop, stop,
we're
stop,
going to
stop,
revisit
stop.
a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
It's still unplugged.
Can I plug it back in?
No.
No.
Listen, he had to draw some lines somewhere. If this game isn't actually programming itself, this isn't Ender's game.
That would
Notice
be
that he's
insane.
made a change.
We know your
There's a
choices are
fence. I
meaningful.
can't jump
We
off.
can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Much like some people. This place is not equipped to deal with reality.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
All right.
Now remember, all
Which
you need
door
to
do
do is
you
behave
choose?
exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Wait, I could choose the right door
Yeah.
again? Okay, let's do it.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Broke reality.
Perhaps we're not too late.
I'm breaking reality. This is amazing.
Every time you don't act like Stanley, it essentially creates a paradox. Alright.
Can
I don't think you have a choice from here, but I think you have broken the entire world at this point.
I... Okay. Alright. Swing here.
It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage?
Wait. So if I had actually gone left that time...
Yeah, it would have put you back on track.
Even if there were a way
You had to choose to go, you would have gone back to the normal story.
Oh, I actually would have just been on the normal story.
Probably.
That knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility.
That's what he
forever.
seems to think
I couldn't
anyway.
live
But
that
by
way.
going right
It's about
again,
to shut the
you
game
destroyed it.
Destroyed it, yeah.
To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.